Ooh, it's been a busy week. Been getting a lot of stuff done. Let's show you what I've been working on. So, you can ignore those for now, but yeah, I built this this big old like warp tunnel thingy that you fly through. I put some very, very fancy, sweet obstacles in the way. Let's fly through and have a look. It's a very long tunnel, and the ship moves pretty slow, which is deliberate, but it's kind of cool because like now if you fly over here towards the edge of the tunnel, and of course this is all an illusion. This stuff is all moving. The ship is stationary, but it feels like you're flying. And now if I move towards the edge of the tunnel, in fact, if I just fly straight out of the tunnel, whoop, top left, you can see server warp tunnel warning. Warp tunnel warning. I'm out of the tunnel. Oh no, warning, warning. Okay, now we're getting damage. I'm too far out. This is warp tunnel damage. And if I go really far out of the ship, eventually it'll say warp tunnel death. So if you fly a crazy amount out of the tunnel, you'll die. But right now I'm just getting damage. Obviously it's not going to tick damage that quickly on you, but that's just my little indicator there to, you know, tests and all that stuff. But yeah, I can fly around, I can do stuff, I can look at things. I think if I fly through this this big bean up here, this big pill, it'll acknowledge. Okay, so now my warp tunnel warnings are finally done, I think. Yeah, they're done. But if I go through here, it goes boop, hello. That means I just went into that warp rift, which I need to make this double-sided, don't I? I guess it is. Okay. But yeah, when you go through those little warp rifts, it'll cause damage too, things like that. So you just have obstacles to dodge. For right now, this is all obviously super basic. This is going to get overhauled visually and, you know, change all this stuff around. But for now, it's functional, which is super cool, and it replicates. So when you play with multiplayer, everybody sees this. But what's really awesome is with this thing that I set up over the last few days is this pipe system. I was having a hard time figuring out how I wanted to like run the pipes down here in the maintenance shafts, because it's got like, you know, there's gonna be pipes running along the walls, the ceilings. So I built this system out. It took a while to like figure out how I wanted to do it, but finally what I did is I've got these brackets, and then within those brackets they've got sockets, and each of those sockets you can say, okay, I want this socket to be a green data wire or a red power wire or an orange hydraulic wire. And then you say, okay, this is the next bracket. In fact, I can show you real quick. If I just go to one of these sockets or these brackets and then go over here to the right to my connections indexes, I can see it's got currently got 3 connection indexes. It says what type it is. This one, you can do like a data line, water, waste, fuel, pipe, coolant. I set this all up. You can say which bracket you want it to go to. So you just grab this little eyedrop and say, I want it to go to that bracket. Boop. And then which socket. It just goes on this particular socket or bracket. It's got 5 sockets, 0 through 4. So as you can see, this first one is socket 1 or 0, socket 1, socket 2. And if you want, you can crisscross them, you know, change the target and the destination, or the local and the target. And then I've just got a direction variable in here for now, whether it goes along the x-axis with like the fluid or against it the other direction, but I have to mess with that later. But it's pretty cool to see it in action, because then, you know, that one connects to that one, this one refers to this one, and so forth and so on. And then I built more ones. So this one is just a 3 bracket top plate. And as you can see, it's kind of similar. It's got the data, the power, the hydraulic. And then I've built these, which are like little termination points. And so then from there, on this one, I can say, okay, you know, this data line, I want to go into the ceiling. So I grab this little eyedropper and I grab that, boom, and now it knows to run the data line to there. And then I guess actually the target socket should be 0 on all of these, because these, yeah, I don't think it made a difference, but let's find out if that changed anything. No, they still look good. But yeah, it lets me, you know, take these L-shaped brackets and then run the pipes to a flat ceiling bracket and then run those individual tubes to their little endpoints. Pretty freaking cool. I need to like adjust the size of these endpoints if it's a data wire so it's smaller. They don't need to be all huge like that. But anyway, it's functional, it's working, it's freaking awesome. I can grab stuff and just move it around now and be like, hey, let's make the pipe go down like this now. And it just connects the dots. It's so freaking cool. I can't get over how awesome it is. Obviously, these pipes are all going to be down below. I just kept them up here for troubleshooting. And then I also made a similar system with these brackets. It actually is built, or with these brackets that are running the vents. We've got a little bit of geometry fighting going on here, but I think I know why. But these are super cool too, because it runs in the same bracket system. These are still brackets. They're just different shape bracket. They're a duct bracket instead. And then, like, for example, if I wanted to grab this duct bracket and branch it off further this way, I could do that. And then all I got to do is grab this one and tell it to point at this bracket. Boop. And then it's got the local socket is 0, the target socket is 0 because it's only got one socket. Same direction, save it, and bam! Now we've got additional air AC vents, and then these, they terminate into these, which when they are, if I was up on top right now, I could show you, it just pokes out a little tiny bit like that. So this will eventually be like a beautiful mesh, and it'll have like a little vent right there, a little air vent, which will go whoosh and blow air all the time, make a nice little whooshing sound. But yeah, the system is super cool. I'm very pleased with it. It's been, it's one of those giant aha moments when I finally got it working. And I'm very stoked because now what we're going to do is figure out how to make all of these pieces breakable so that when the ship goes through a warp pocket or enters warp space, I can tell it, hey, do such and such damage to such and such pipes, kind of randomly throughout the ship. And then once they get to a certain damage threshold, they'll either be, damage where they've got like a little crack in them. And this will be like dripping fluid, or these will be like having some occasional sparks shoot out, or there'll be critical damage where there'll be like a big crack or a big fray, lots of sparks, lots of fluid, or it'll be completely destroyed where this pipe will be completely blown out entirely and there will be no pressure going through the line anymore. Or like these lines will be completely blown out and severed or melted or something. And so when that's the case, whatever these connect to will stop working. For example, these doors are all hydraulic. They run on hydraulic fluid. Also, I made automatic doors. Whee! Cool. But every single one of these doors is going to have power, it's going to have data, and it's going to have hydraulic lines. So if any one of those three breaks, if the power stops working, the door will stop working. If the data stops working, the door will stop working. If the hydraulic fluid stops working, the door will slowly stop working. So if this has got like low fluid, the door will slow down, boom, open real slow. If it's got a short in the data or the power line, then this will like jitter as it opens and like occasionally stop maybe. So there's going to be all kinds of weird little things that kind of give you an indication if something is broken. There's also going to be, a system where you can say, okay, where are my power breaks? Or you can also just go down into in here and look at the lines and be like, oh, that one's got sparks shooting everywhere. Let's fix it. So there'll be a number of different ways to tell what needs to be fixed and worked on. But I'm so stoked because once we get this part working, I can really wire the whole ship up and like build more consoles. And then we can test it all and actually start, quote unquote, playing the game. Because right now we're just fucking around making it work. But soon we'll be able to actually start playing the game and breaking things and fixing them. And that's the core gameplay loop, Fly through the tunnel, ship breaks, fix the ship, get to the end of the tunnel. GG. Catch you guys later.